Hey, what's going on, guys? And welcome back to the Alone in My Head podcast. Pete here, episode number 62. Last week we talked about, oh my God, what the hell did we talk about? Well, I'll talk about work. I already forgot. Work was one of them, but the main one that we talked about was, why can't I think of it right now? Oh my God, I just farted, like brain farted. I didn't fart in real life, I just brain farted. Anyway, we'll get back to it anyway. This week we're going to talk a little bit about what I didn't cover was my kids and the first day of school and being in a new school again. And actually the school is legitimate or legitimate or legit. I'm going to say legit. That sounds easier for me to talk about. I'm going to talk about the little habits that I am or have been implementing and now have been doing a really good job at holding on to them. And in order for me to reach the goal that I want to reach, and that's to compete, right? I have a bunch of tournaments coming up, and I want to compete and do good. Notice what I didn't say, right, is I want to win. I tried to take that out of my language, not because I don't want to. I just end up, personally for myself, I end up putting too much pressure onto myself. And instead of enjoying this process, I'm just starting. I'm not there. I'm not an elite competitor yet. So I don't believe that the word win needs to be in my language. Now, if I was, we could talk about Dom, right? If I'm Dom, shout out to Dom, just joined the Patreon. Thank you so much, man. Like, thank you for that. You have no idea how much it means to me that you're supporting the channel and supporting the podcast. And, you're a perfect example for a lot of things I talk about. Why? Because mainly you're on my mind and probably the only person that listens anyway. I'm just kidding. There's some people who listen as well. But he's an elite professional bodybuilder, right? His phases of, I hope I do good is over. I hope I learn a little. Of course, you're going to learn more, but he's at the point where his mindset needs to be, I'm going to fucking win. Like, there's no stopping. And if you ever text with him or ever sends you a text message or type something or comments, he types the word win with a 1. So he'll put W1N. Like, that's how focused he gets in order to do the best that he can and or supersede what it is he thinks he can do. And in my belief, I believe he works hard. I know he does. I know he does everything right that he needs to. And everything from here on out is just a learning process for him on how to adjust like a micro inch, but that little inch means a lot. Like, that little inch makes the difference in where he's at. If you're coaching or choosing your starting pitcher in the major leagues, you know how hard that's got to be? Because every single person there is really good, obviously, right? They're in the major leagues. Now they have to choose the best one. Same thing with like a quarterback. How do you choose these people? It's literally a micro inch of some type of talent or some type of extra ability or performance that makes you the starter, makes you the champion, right? Or the winner. And it's at that point it's detrimental to think, not detrimental, it's very important to think super positively. Right? Like, I am the champion. I am going to win. There's no choice. I'm going to walk away with the gold. Like, that's the mindset there. For me, I'm only a white belt, right? Which means I'm just starting to compete again in this, what we call martial art. I still do the things that I used to do for wrestling and bodybuilding. Like, when I'm running and I finish, I raise my hand up. Like, I believe that's just something about me that helps me. I just felt myself up, by the way, and something about me that helps me vision success, right? Because I finish, bang, the timer goes off. This is my last lap. Once I'm done, I raise my hand up. I did it throughout wrestling. I did it throughout bodybuilding. I did it during stand-up. And if you guys listen to my podcast before, I don't even know if I talk about it. I think it's just on YouTube videos back in the day. I would run up this hill. So there's a hill. Let me give you my route, okay? I would run 3 to 4 miles around Nutley into Belleville, right? I'd go loop around Nutley because I was like on the border of Nutley and Belleville. I'd go up and around, past Nutley High School, all the way down Franklin Ave, all the way to Belleville High School, right? I'll get to Greylock Parkway. I'll start running up Greylock Parkway. When I get to the high school in Belleville, there were stadium stairs. The best. I would do my stair work. Stairs, up and down, whatever laps, sprints, lunges, dips, whatever I got to do inside there after the run. Now, this was the closing part, which I always called my overtime. Okay? So now, when I had to go home, I had to go complete this run up the rest of Greylock Parkway, which is a pretty steep pitch. So once I go down Knowlton, I think it was Knowlton, Knowlton Ave, I would make a right and prepare myself to sprint up this hill. And I would sprint up Greylock Parkway till I got to the top, which is Forest Street, where the number 5 school stood. And at the top of that hill, I would pretend there was a microphone there. And I would grab the microphone and then hold it to my face and then raise my hand up like I'm, at Madison Square Garden or some shit. And like that's how I thought. That's how I would train. When I did that sprint for wrestling or did that sprint for bodybuilding, I would just do it and I'd hold my hand up, number 1, because that's kind of the mindset. And now I could do my cool down, thank God. I would cool down and I would walk or jog all the way back home. And that was like every day. That was every single day. Rain, snow, it didn't matter. If it was snowing, I put Tim's on, I did the same thing. But unless it was too hard, we used to love like going to work out at the stairs in the snow because it was fun. It was hard, and like if you fell, it didn't matter because you're gonna fall in like 35 feet of snow, and it was just kind of fun the entire time. But I don't need to do that right now, right? All I need to do is develop these habits, and that's what I'm gonna talk about today. It's like really developing the habits that help me do better in order to perform better. I want to go in there knowing that I did what I can, right? Because I know last tournament I trained, but I didn't condition, right? I didn't do any conditioning, just enough, right? Some like kettlebell swings and like I'd roll and just do some live, and that's it. I remember I gassed out in the finals. Like I remember gassing out. It was 2-2, and I gassed. And I remember him. He just like swept me, took me to my back, and I was like, I'm so tired, and I was exhausted, and like it took a lot for me to get out of these positions because I didn't want to get submitted or tapped out. So I ended up losing 8-2, and I knew a lot of it had to just do with conditioning. Like the guy was good too. Don't get me wrong. Like all these guys that I went against were way better than I was, or more experienced. They had more stripes than I did. I had 1. They had 4. Like it's something. But I have wrestling, and I kind of have that mindset as well. And I didn't want to take it to a point where I pressure myself to win and be the champion. I believe at my level, it will come, right? It'll come. But I would rather focus more on, am I doing the right things? Like, am I in the positions that I want to be in versus like, let me just try to win. Like, am I in these positions? I want to learn the martial art, right? You can always punch someone, right? And hopefully the punch will land and knock them out. But there's also a lot of technique that you can learn to punch them faster. And more of a guarantee that you'll get a more consistent punch that can knock them out. You know what I'm trying to say? So the same thing with the sport. It's like, okay, I can wrestle them and hopefully have an advantage because I have some wrestling in my background and then find some better positions. Or can I work on my technique? Work on the things that I've been working on over and over and over again, week after week at class. And hopefully it carries on into subconsciously into the mats. So that's the one thing I definitely want to make sure that I talk about. So some of the habits that I started was I started tracking. I have a calendar that I make. It's a blank calendar, nothing on it except I write down my workouts or the things that I've done for myself physically and mentally in order to be better than last time. Right, so I have it's a blank calendar, right, and I'll start it at whatever. It's a 4-week calendar, I think, 1, 2, 3. It's on my fridge. I'm not going to take it out and show it to you. It's right there. And if I worked out and did strength, I make sure I wrote my workout down on there. Did I stretch in the morning? Did I go running? Did I take off? Did I do class? Did I do jiu-jitsu? There's different things that I can mark down. But my goal was to make sure, here's the one habit, is make sure I never have more than one day of doing nothing. So I have my full recovery days, right? And I took one yesterday because after work on Sunday, I was going to take off. Quick story. I get out of work. It was the Raiders versus, who'd they play? Minnesota Vikings. Whatever, preseason. The shuttle bus, because we can't drive into the stadium, I got to take a shuttle bus. So it usually takes about a half an hour from the parking lot where we have to park. The employee parking lot, it's like, I believe 3 miles away from the stadium. So we have to park in this parking lot far away, and then we got to wait for a shuttle, and the shuttle takes us into the stadium where we go through security checkpoints, all that garbage. So it takes like a half an hour extra in order to get into the stadium. On the way out, there's a huge line of employees waiting for the shuttles. The shuttles weren't there. And I just worked 11 hours. Last thing I want to do is wait for a shuttle in 100 degrees, in a black button-up and black pants. I waited for about 3 minutes, and I came to the decision that, not that I was impatient and didn't want to wait. Sure, I'm sure that was the first one. The second one was, I could get my cardio in right now because I know the parking lot is like 3 miles away. So I Google mapped it. It said it would take me about an hour if I walked. So I jumped out of line and I just started walking. Now, the streets that I was choosing, I forget that I'm pretty much in the hood, right, when I'm walking. So, I didn't really care too much because I did look like a Mexican coming out of work because I took my black shirt off. That was kind of racist, wasn't it? Mexican. Sorry, Mexicans, but out here, there's a lot of fucking Mexicans that walk around. So I'm just telling you what I looked like. And I looked like one because it's just true. And I had a white V-neck on, tattoos. So I'm just walking. No one bothered me, obviously. Just walking through, and I was walking at a good pace to where I was tired, right? Where I want to make sure I got a good walking pace for a long-form cardio, because long-form cardio is very important in conditioning. I do long-form cardio once a week. So now I didn't have to do it yesterday. I got to do it right after work. Now, did it take a lot of discipline, a lot of talking myself into it? Yeah, for sure. Because I was tired. My feet hurt. I didn't have running shoes on or walking shoes. I had work shoes, non-slip black work shoes on. But I could have made every excuse that I wanted to. Instead, I just started walking. And I didn't look back. I get a block down from my walk. 13,000 shuttles are now making their way to pick up the fucking workers in line. In my head, I was like, do I turn around and go back? No, you fucking complete your task. And that was it. I had it in my head. I had it pulled in. I knew I could get a workout in without even thinking about it. I was already warmed up, right? I fucking walked 12 miles at work. I walk all day long at work. I'm on my feet the entire time for 11 hours. So why not just finish it off? Get the good heart rate going. Get a nice fat-burning session. Even more importantly, an aerobic cardio session in. So now I could do my anaerobic stuff today, which is the stuff that kind of, anaerobic is the one that you get more glycogen, like your body. CrossFit workouts, is that easy way to say it for you guys to understand? It's just one of those workouts that require more muscles. So I could do like dumbbell clean presses with some sprints, really tax out my, my energy system. So that's what I could do today. I hope, I'm getting it in because I do have a class as well. But I'm sorry. I use this calendar to track my days. Make sure that I do something every day and then have a planned day off. Like when my body's messed up, I know it just doesn't feel good, I'll take off that day. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to go outside and walk and do this, or stretch a little bit. I'm going to do that too, but making sure I don't overdo it, but at the same time don't underdo it. Right? You have to work. If you want to win in anything, you have to work, and that's it. The best of the best are good because they fucking work, right? And they work hard, and that's your discipline. That's a habit you have to start creating yourself. You have to start little things for work. I even wrote this down, right? For habits that are big, you got to start working on the small ones. Perfect example for me is I see something on the floor, like a paper from a straw, a piece of paper, a napkin, I could walk by it. I can easily walk by it. But I say, what would a hardworking person do? Pick that shit up. Right? So that's my habit. At work, I don't let one piece of paper get by me. Now, if it's a lot, obviously I got to get a broom or some shit. But if I'm busy, I don't have time to do it. But if I'm walking around because there's nothing to do and I see a straw, I'm going to pick it up. If I see a lime on the ground, I'm going to pick it up instead of just leaving it there. Why? Because what would a hardworking person do? That's what I am. I'm a hardworking person. So this is what I'm going to do. You know, people say, oh, work hard, work smart, not hard. False. You can work smart. That's fine. But you also got to work hard in everything you fucking do. Everything. I don't think there's something that you should not. You know, and I try to instill that in my children now. You know, like put your fucking dishes away, little assholes. Fucking clean up. No, I'm just kidding. I don't say that. But they get chores. You know, they have their chores too. Yeah, she's 3, he's 6. They have chores. Clean up your shit. You finished eating? Where's your spoon go? Right. Where's the paper plate go? Right. Clean up. Oh, your clothes are on the floor. Where they go? Start working. You know, you got to start developing these habits now because it just carries on to where they are. But of course they get compensated for it. They get allowance. What? Who gives them allowance these days? They get allowance. They get $1. That's fucking awesome. And we teach them how to save and or spend. So like we had games the other day in the pool, and I would put money on the line. I'm definitely from New Jersey. I'm definitely Italian from New Jersey. Placing bets on my kids on races, or I was betting against them because I would win. Like we do different types of races, and I'd be like, $2 goes to the winner on this one. Make them swim across the pool, and then they get $2. But then I cheat and then make sure Sage gets $2 too. You know, to try to even it out. At the end of the day, they both won $5 each. But now with that $5, I taught them that they have to save a certain amount. Now they have a choice to either spend the ones they want after saving it, or they could save more if they'd like to for something bigger at some point in their life. So, you know, start it now and see what happens with that. You know, these are the little habits that I'm talking about. I started talking about a small habit, and I went to talking about developing habits for my children, and that's very weird. Another thing I do for small habit-wise is I do an ascending pull-up, pretty much. I don't want to call it a challenge, but every day I add a pull-up and I do them. So I started with 5 because I know one pull-up is like, that'll take a whole week for easy. So I started with 5 pull-ups. The next day, 6 pull-ups, 7 pull-ups, 8 pull-ups, 9, 10, 11, 12, until I get to 30. I don't miss a day, and I do 50 push-ups a day. 50. That's it. You know, because I know I used to do 100, but I don't have to do 100. 50 is good enough to where it just keeps my mind working. It keeps my body in tune. I'm not doing anything to hurt myself. I'm just doing things to make sure I'm better than last time. Not that I don't like losing, but I don't like losing. But what I really don't like is knowing I could have done something better in order to have won. Or even if I won, I could have did this a little bit better. You know? And that little, not self-deprecating attitude, I don't know the word. Just being not judgmental, just being blah, 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 whatever, just makes you a little bit better. Just gives you that little bit of an edge, a little advantage to you psychologically and physically, honestly. So those are the habits that I started doing. Making sure I work out, right? Not taking more than one day off. Like if I stretch, I make sure I stretch 4 times a week. 4 times a week, that's my goal. And I've stretched more than 4 times a week. I sit down, listen to some lady, I forget her name, Maddie Fit maybe? I definitely made that up. She looks like someone that used to work out at Crank, and that was a good friend of mine. It's weird because I'm like, is that her? Is she teaching me? But then she talks and she's German. So go figure, right? 'Cause I've been following this video that is just music and just following the stretches and the routine. And then let me see what else she has, like other type of videos. I played it and she's doing yoga and started talking in German. So I'm watching and following a German yoga instructor in order to stretch every morning. I haven't changed. I keep the same one. I use whatever I can. That even if she's talking in German, I kind of just follow whatever she's doing. If she's saying something, I'm sure she's saying breathe in, breathe out, namaste, or let your mind go. She's saying something. She's probably saying don't eat meat, eat vegetables, and make sure you have a succulent plant. I don't fucking know what the fuck I was talking about. So I do that 4 to 5 times, even more times a week, and that's a necessity. You know, a necessity to me is not the strength portion. The necessity to me is make sure I stretch. Why? Because I'm really good at the strength portion. I can do that easily. I could walk in, warm up, do my strength, do my cardio. That's easy to me. What's the harder one? Stretching. Fucking suck at it, right? It doesn't become my priority. So I change the priorities. Usually we's like, oh no, I got to make sure I work out and I do this and I get the no. For me, it's different because my body's smashed up, right? My joints are killing me. I have tight everything. The priority for me is the stretches. So making sure I get that early in the morning while the kids are sleeping and about to wake up, that's when I do it. I walk the dogs 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30 sometimes, get back here, stretch. It's a half an hour long. Sometimes I do it longer, but that became my priority habit because I know that I can let that one slip and not really follow through with it, So maybe think about it that way in your life. Like, what's something that you know is a priority, but you make it not so much, or you put it at the end of the line, whereas you know it's important. In order for you to supplement your current priority, right? Why don't you make it more important? Because it's going to help. Like that stretching is going to help me become stronger. It's going to help me on the mats. It's going to help me more because it's going to help my muscles relax. It's going to help them become a little bit longer. It's going to give my joints some relief instead of being so tight and a lot of pressure all the time. So now I can perform even better. And hopefully get my leg around someone's head and choke them to death. Like, that's hopefully what I can do. And they're going to fart in their face while I do it the entire time. So let's talk about my kids' school. Their first day was last week. We are in a new school down here in the south. The southwest here is completely different to where we lived before. There's fucking horses. I see a camel. My neighbor has a camel. Goats. There's a horse ranch across the street from my kids' school. I say hi to that horse or horses every morning. They got a lot of flies on their face. It's kind of disgusting. So I don't get too close because I don't like flies and they're itchy. These guys bite. And it has a lot of dirt, a lot of land, a lot of opening, not many trees. So it's very open. When they say it's the Wild Wild West, well, I can see why it is the Wild Wild West. It's some crazy shit happens here. And there's still horses and people ride them. And it's fucking crazy to me. But it's because I'm used to watching people ride mopeds and cars all the time, but never a horse. The kids' school is cool because it's a school that's been around. The one they went to last year was just a brand new school. So really, I'm sure they didn't have criteria or any type of methods or any type of routine they've had for years to years because the first year they opened up was when COVID happened. So all they did was virtual, and then they finally had kids in the school for the first time last year. So I'm sure it was a little different, right? I'm sure it was a little different, or 2 years ago. But this year, this school's been around for 22 years. So, it's a little different. And it was so much easier to get the kids into the school, park right outside. I walked them in. Sage, it was her first day of school. She's so excited. She was so excited to go in every day. She runs away from me and right into the playground and goes to her friends with a teacher there. And then because it's so hot here, they do recess in the morning. So the first things they do is they play outside. So the first half hour, they're outside. And then the rest of the day, they're inside. Usually you get that midday break, but it gets so hot out that they got to do the stuff in the morning and then, which is already 98 degrees, right? So it's already pretty hot anyway. But thank God they got air conditionings in the school and central air, so that's really good. Phoenix has a little bit more structure. He has a real teacher this year. Last year, I don't know if he had a real teacher at all. I don't even know what they did, honestly. But I can tell that he doesn't like it that much because there's probably so much structure now, and so much routine and so much work. And now he's in second grade, so it's a little different. So he doesn't run out and is super excited at the other school. He would run out and be excited and yeah, I did this and I played on a computer, and he always told me to play on a computer. Here, he doesn't tell me to play on a computer. So, which means he's doing work, and they send the work home with him, which it's cool to see the communication, just like unlike the other school where I didn't really know anything. But if you're a sub, right, you're not obligated to do all that work. You're just a sub to watch the kids, and I get it. He's had a nice free year last year, and this year he's kind of got to get to work, and I'm sure it bothers him, and I'm sure it's frustrating. But that is school, and that is how you learn discipline. You have to learn to do things you don't want to, and that's fucking discipline, and making sure you do it. Discipline is very important, and I believe that everyone should have it, and everyone that does have it are the most successful ones out there. Discipline, number one thing you need. Hard work, number two. What? I sound like my tattoos. That's what I sound like right now. That's what I do. That's what you sound like. So they enjoyed their first day of school. What else are we going? Phoenix in piano school. So it's cool. He's got a piano teacher. He's really good at it. It's fucking weird. It's so weird how he gets it. He doesn't. It's almost like he doesn't want to listen, but then when he plays, he just gets it. So it's pretty awesome to see the natural abilities and natural talents of my children. And then Sage now starts dance school this Thursday. And it's that's what she wants. That's what we want to try. Why not? Am I putting her ballet? Fuck no. Fuck no. Ballet, these balls. Gross. No. Hip-hop, tap, rhythm, son. That's it. I'm not watching a recital. I'm not doing it. I can't. If she loves it, good for her. She'd go by herself. She could drive herself if she wants to. I'm not going to recital. I'm not saying I'm against them. I'm just not going. You listen, if your kids are in recitals and you guys are in ballet, fantastic for you. Some people like peanut butter, some people like jelly. I don't like either. So actually, I love both. But I would rather, I could sit through hip hop dance a little bit more than I can ballet, probably. And I'm the one driving, so I gotta fucking sit there. I don't want to sit there and watch ballet. And I want to talk to people. I don't want to talk to people that talk about ballet. And it's gonna happen. I could sit there and talk to people about hip hop. I could talk to them about breakdancing. That's easy. But for me to sit for an hour with parents that are gonna talk about ballet, you can just shoot me now in the fucking head. Watch. She's going to like ballet. I'm going to go into ballet. I can guarantee it. That's just the way it works. That's just the way it works. All right, man. So I hope you guys got a lot out of that. If you guys want to support the channel, Patreon. Dom, thank you so much for jumping onto the Patreon. I really do appreciate you as much as you know, and probably don't even know how much I appreciate you. Yeah, man. Build those habits. I got boogers coming out of my nose. I'm going to wipe it real fast on my shirt. Fuck that. Build the habits. Start with small things. What are 3 things that you could add into your month? I'd say your fucking week, right? Your month. Make it long term. Add something, little things. What can you do to become a harder worker, more disciplined? Something to cover up those holes in your life that you lack. Make those things that you lack your priority versus the things that are already your priority, even a bigger priority. Because the things that are priority to you now, you probably already are really good at it, right? You're professional at it. What's the shitty things what are the things that you're shitty at? Become a little better at those, because that's going to help you in your bigger ones. All right. Thank you for coming out. This is Pete from Alone in Your Head podcast. I don't want to kill myself. That's fantastic. So that's a good feeling. That's what I tell my therapist. And I'm here next week. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for coming out, guys. Subscribe and hit me up with some 5-star reviews on whatever platform you're listening to tonight or this morning. See you guys later.